What was your previous relationship like? This will open up a talk about the reasons why the previous relationship did not succeed. Hello and welcome to my channel. I hope you're doing good. In case you're new here, my name is Charity Mugeni and I make videos on faith, family and self-improvement. So if you haven't subscribed to this channel up to now, please do, because I would really love to have you be part of this family. And in today's video, I want to talk about some of the questions that you need to ask each other while dating or before getting married. I'm making this video because I want to just address some of the questions that have been coming through our live streams or through my live streams. So I thought of making this video so that it can be able to address some of those questions that you have been asking. When my husband and I started dating, I really didn't know that we were dating because we were just friends. But we used to go to places to just talk and chat. So I must admit that I was a little bit naive and he was more intentional than I was. So what I used to do was just to throw those questions back at him. And throughout our conversation, I can say that it really helped us to know each other more and to prepare for our marriage. So I'm just going to share with you some of these questions, not in any particular order, in that you can also ask them if you are dating right now or you are planning to be in a relationship to prepare for marriage. You can ask some of these questions and they can be really helpful to prepare you for marriage. The first question is that what is your relationship with your family like? You are able to know how he or she relates with his brothers, his sisters, or her brothers and sisters, parents, and vice versa. So that question will also help prepare you to know how to interact with either of your families when you meet, whether it is in events, whether it is in just visiting as a family. It will help you to know how to even relate with them in the long term. So that will form a basis or a foundation on how you are going to prepare yourself to relate or to build relationships with his or her family members. The second question is that what are your expectations about marriage? What do you envision marriage to be like? So in this case, you are going to speak about roles in the family, especially when it comes to work in the house. Are you the kind of a husband who believes that everything in the house is the responsibility of a wife? Or are you the kind of a person who believes that where there is need, you can help, or you can help each other whenever necessary? So you can be able to talk about that. The second question is that what are your beliefs about money? Are you the kind of a person who believes in 50-50 in terms of financial responsibility, or you are the kind of people who believe that whenever necessary, you can help each other according to the situation? Because when it comes to work and earning an income, sometimes things can change. One of you can have a job, another one can fail to have a job. Is it something that you can bear and know how to navigate through it, or it is something that is unacceptable? So you should be able to be open and talk about that. Another question that you also need to address: how many children do you want to have? So that you can talk about issues of in case we don't have children, how are we going to navigate that? Are we open to adoption, or can we just agree to be like that? And if it is a number of children, how many? One might be having a desire to have more and the other one wants less. you should be able to reach to a point where you can agree about that. Another question is, what is your point of no compromise? What is that thing that you cannot compromise when it comes to a spouse? For me, it was faith. I wanted a spouse who is a Christian. And so if I met a person, or if I were to meet a person who is not a Christian, I think I wouldn't have moved ahead. I was blessed to have a person who is a Christian. So you also have to talk about that, because faith has to do with the beliefs, and beliefs influence how people make choices and decisions. So for me, that was a point of no compromise. Another thing you also need to ask each other, or another question that you need to ask each other, is where do you expect to live as a family if you were to get married, or where do you want to build your family from? Because a place of living affects your lifestyle, affects the choices of where your children needs to go to school. So those are some of the things that you need to talk about so that you can agree. And are you open to changes? Because sometimes jobs shift. Are you willing to move to a different place in case a situation necessitates so? So that is another question that you also need to be asking yourself. Another important question that you need to ask each other is, what is your love language? Because some people love quality time, some people love gifts, depending on the 5 love languages that, of course, you've heard about. So this will help you know how to love each other better. For me, it was spending or having quality time together. That is something that I do value. It is on top of my list. Of course, someone can have more than one love language, but what is that on top of your list? In terms of gifts, which kind of gifts do you really appreciate? Because there are some women, for example, who love flowers, but some would prefer a more tangible gift. So those are some of the questions that you should ask. And some also, even though they love flowers, they would also prefer to have some that can be kept for some time so that they can always remember. So it will depend. You have to talk about those things so that you can know how to love or to show love to each other in a better way before you get into that marriage. And then another important question is that, what is your conflict resolution plan? For in my case, I said it outright. I wouldn't really prefer to have our conflicts being handed to the third party to help us solve those conflicts. My desire is for us to always solve our conflicts by ourselves. So you ask yourself, are you open to that? That you can take your conflicts either to your brother, your sister, your friend, or a pastor or a therapist. It will all have to depend on you. You have to talk about that. But for us, we talked and we agreed that we would prefer if our conflicts would just be sorted out by ourselves. And as much as we can, we try our best to just keep our conflicts to ourselves. We talk it through and then also forgive each other and move on. Because the scripture tells us that love does not keep a record of wrong. And also it goes ahead to tell us that if you forgive someone, you should be able to comfort them so that they do not keep on wallowing in guilt while you have already forgiven them. So the actions that show that you have forgiven them should follow so that they are comforted knowing that they have been forgiven. Then the last important question that you should also ask each other is, what was your previous relationship like? This will open up a talk about the reasons why previous relationship did not succeed, so that you are able to know where to make a difference or where to improve, so that you are not carrying the baggage from the previous relationship into the present relationship or into your marriage. So once you know what was ailing the other relationship, then you can plan or to be intentional not to repeat some of those mistakes. It will help you to improve the relationship or the present relationship. It will also help you know whether you have healed from the previous hurts or previous pains, because moving forward in a relationship with someone who has not healed, it is going to bring problems in the relationship. So you need to be able to understand whether someone has gotten over their previous hurts or their previous pains, in that we are beginning or we are coming into this new relationship on a clean slate, and we envision to get into our marriage just putting aside our previous baggage and just coming clean into this new relationship. This will really help have a better marriage. I hope that this video will be helpful to you if you are dating or you are planning to date in future. And if you have enjoyed this video up to this point and you haven't subscribed to this channel, please do subscribe, and also don't forget to give it a like or a thumbs up, and also leave a sweet comment in the comment section. See you in the next one. Bye bye.